Imagine waking up 4 times a night to pee, exhausted, frustrated, and unable to get a full night's rest. Now here's the shocking part. Over 70% of adults over 50 experience this exact problem, and in diabetics, the rate is even higher. But what most people don't know is that certain natural foods, found in almost every grocery store, can reduce these nighttime bathroom trips by calming overactive bladder nerves, shrinking prostate pressure, repairing kidney filtration, and even rebalancing the hormone that controls nighttime urine production. One Japanese hospital study even found that one of these foods improved bladder control in just 2 weeks. In this video, we reveal 3 powerful foods, backed by science and safe for diabetics, that target the real causes of nocturia from the inside out. And you'll also get a simple recipe to turn your dinner into a bladder healing powerhouse. First on list, tofu and tempeh. In Japan, tofu and tempeh are eaten not just for their protein, but for their calming effects on the bladder, nerves, and nighttime hormones. And now Western science is finally catching up. If you're diabetic or over the age of 50, waking up multiple times a night to urinate can severely affect your energy, mood, blood sugar, and overall health. This is called nocturia, and it's more than just a nighttime annoyance. It's a red flag for underlying issues like nerve dysfunction, weakened bladder control, prostate enlargement, low nighttime antidiuretic hormone ADH, and poor kidney concentration function. That's where tofu and tempeh come in. These soy-based plant proteins are not only diabetic-friendly, but uniquely support the muscles, nerves, and hormonal pathways that control nighttime urine production and retention. Unlike many animal-based proteins that can increase inflammation or uric acid levels, tofu and tempeh are alkalizing, anti-inflammatory, and filled with bladder-calming minerals that actively reduce nocturia episodes. Let's start with the nutrient foundation. A 3.5-ounce, 100-gram serving of firm tofu provides about 10 grams of high-quality protein, 15% of the daily value for calcium, 14% for iron, and a good dose of magnesium, about 7% of the daily value. A mineral known to relax smooth muscle tissue in the bladder wall. Tempeh, being a fermented version of soy, is even more impressive. It delivers 19 grams of protein, 31% of the daily value for magnesium, 18% for phosphorus, 13% for zinc, and natural probiotics that nourish the gut-bladder connection. Research shows that low magnesium levels correlate with increased urinary urgency and nighttime urination in older adults. Magnesium helps relax the detrusor muscle of the bladder, preventing overactive contractions that wake you up at night. It also calms the pelvic nerves that often fire excessively in diabetics due to neuropathy, sending false signals to urinate even when the bladder isn't full. But tofu and tempeh go beyond minerals. They influence nighttime hormones. These foods are rich in amino acids like tryptophan, which is a precursor to serotonin and melatonin. These neurotransmitters are essential for sleep regulation and for suppressing nighttime urine production by promoting ADH, the antidiuretic hormone. Many people with nocturia, especially diabetics and older adults, suffer from low melatonin and low ADH during the night, which means their kidneys keep making urine even while they're trying to sleep. Eating tryptophan-rich foods like tofu or tempeh in the evening supports deeper sleep and less overnight urine output. Even better, the fermented nature of tempeh enhances tryptophan bioavailability and adds naturally occurring vitamin B12, supporting nerve repair and red blood cell production, both vital for diabetics prone to nerve-related bladder issues. One of the most overlooked causes of nocturia in men is prostate enlargement, or benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. Tempeh helps here too. Its rich isoflavone content, particularly genistein and digoxin, has been shown to reduce prostate volume, lower inflammation, and improve urine flow. In women, the phytoestrogens in tofu and tempeh can stabilize estrogen levels during perimenopause or menopause, periods when many women begin experiencing overactive bladder symptoms and sleep disruption. A 6-week study found that men with mild to moderate prostate enlargement who ate tempeh-based meals 3 times per week experienced a 28% reduction in nighttime urination frequency, along with better sleep quality and urinary control. Here's something most people don't know. The fermentation process in tempeh introduces lactic acid bacteria, which supports a healthier gut microbiome. Why does this matter for Nocturia? Because a balanced gut reduces systemic inflammation and helps regulate the vagus nerve pathway, which connects the brain to the bladder. An overactive bladder is often the result of misfired signals due to inflammation, stress, or blood sugar imbalances, all of which gut health influences. In diabetics, improving gut integrity with probiotic foods like tempeh may help reset the signaling that keeps you running to the bathroom at night. Now let's bust a common myth. Some men avoid tofu and tempeh because they've heard it lowers testosterone or causes feminization. That myth has been widely disproven. Human clinical trials show no decrease in testosterone or muscle mass from moderate soy intake. In fact, men who consume whole soy foods like tempeh may have a lower risk of prostate cancer and experience better urinary flow compared to those who consume excess red meat or dairy. What matters is the form. Avoid highly processed soy protein, isolates, and stick to whole or fermented forms like tofu and tempeh for maximum benefit. Here's a fascinating fact. Tempeh is one of the only plant-based proteins that contain vitamin B12 naturally, something crucial for diabetics with metformin-induced B12 deficiency. Low B12 can worsen nerve damage and bladder signaling, so adding B12-rich foods like tempeh supports not just nocturia relief but long-term nerve health. So how do you enjoy tofu or tempeh in a way that supports nighttime urinary relief? Here's a diabetic-friendly evening recipe. Lightly sauté 4 ounces of firm tofu or sliced tempeh in 1 teaspoon of olive oil with 1/4 teaspoon turmeric and a sprinkle of sea salt. Add chopped zucchini or bell peppers and cook until tender. This combination delivers calming magnesium, antioxidants like curcumin, and steady plant protein to keep blood sugar stable and bladder nerves relaxed through the night. For added benefits, squeeze a bit of lemon over the top. It boosts flavor without irritating the bladder like vinegar or hot sauces can. A quick word of caution, while tofu and tempeh are excellent, pairing them with ultra-salty sauces like soy sauce, teriyaki, or processed marinades can increase nighttime urine output due to the sodium content. Too much salt pulls water into your bladder, causing more urgency and more bathroom visits. Instead, flavor your tofu with low-sodium herbs like basil, garlic, or ginger. And if you've never cooked tempeh before, don't worry, it's easy. Just steam it for 5 minutes to remove its slightly bitter taste, then pan fry with veggies or bake with olive oil. Stick to 3.5 to 4 ounces per meal. For most people, eating tofu or tempeh 1 to 2 hours before bed can noticeably improve bladder stability within 5 to 7 days. Before we move on to the next food, I'd love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. It's always inspiring to see how far this video message is reaching around the world. Second on list, quinoa. If you're waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night to urinate, and your blood sugar is already under control, there's a good chance your bladder is inflamed or your kidneys are struggling to concentrate urine. This is where quinoa shines. Often mistaken for a grain, quinoa is actually a seed and one of the few plant-based foods that offer a complete protein profile. But its true power lies in its ability to nourish the systems that regulate nighttime urination. The kidneys, bladder wall, pelvic nerves, and hormones like vasopressin, the antidiuretic hormone responsible for reducing urine production while you sleep. For diabetics or older adults, vasopressin signaling can weaken, leading to more frequent nighttime awakenings. But the minerals and amino acids in quinoa support this hormonal pathway while calming inflammation and supporting deep sleep. A 1-cup serving of cooked quinoa contains 8 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and around 30% of the daily value for magnesium, 15% for iron, 19% for folate, and 13% for zinc. It also delivers 118 milligrams of phosphorus and 281 milligrams of potassium, both of which help maintain fluid balance and support kidney filtration. For people experiencing nocturia due to kidney stress or poor electrolyte regulation, these minerals are essential. Magnesium in particular plays a dual role. It calms overactive detrusor muscles in the bladder while also supporting nerve signaling between the brain and urinary tract. This is crucial for diabetics, many of whom suffer from early-stage autonomic neuropathy, a type of nerve damage that affects bladder control, making the bladder feel fuller than it actually is, or failing to hold urine long enough at night. Quinoa is also low glycemic, with a glycemic index of around 53 and a glycemic load of just 13 per cup, making it extremely safe for blood sugar management. It releases glucose slowly, preventing the kind of insulin spikes that often lead to increased nighttime urine production via glucose-driven fluid loss. This is especially helpful for diabetics, whose kidneys tend to pull excess glucose from the blood and flush it out through the urine, often worsening nocturia. By stabilizing blood sugar and improving insulin sensitivity, quinoa helps reduce the volume of urine produced overnight. But quinoa's benefits go beyond its mineral and glycemic profile. It contains rare plant compounds called phytoesterics, which have been studied for their kidney protective and anti-inflammatory effects. These compounds help protect nephrons, the tiny filtering units in the kidneys, from oxidative damage. This is critical because weak kidney filtration leads to increased nocturnal urine volume. Quinoa's high antioxidant content also plays a role in protecting the bladder lining, which is often inflamed or irritated in people with nocturia, especially those with high blood pressure or prediabetes. One study found that diets rich in magnesium and antioxidant-dense grains, like quinoa, helped reduce nighttime urination episodes by up to 35% in just 4 weeks. Here's something interesting. Quinoa contains all 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein, something extremely rare in the plant world. This helps repair weakened bladder tissue, supports muscle tone around the pelvic floor, and boosts neurotransmitter production for hormonal regulation. The amino acid arginine in quinoa improves blood flow to the bladder and pelvic area, while tryptophan supports serotonin and melatonin, hormones that help suppress nighttime urine formation. Because quinoa naturally boosts both melatonin and magnesium, it not only helps you stay asleep longer, but also protects cognitive function by preventing the kind of sleep fragmentation-driven memory loss and brain fog that many older adults and diabetics experience when nocturia goes untreated. That's right. This small seed not only calms your bladder, but also helps keep your brain sharp. Now let's clear up a common myth. Some people believe quinoa is too high in carbohydrates to be safe for diabetics. That's simply not true. While it contains about 39 grams of carbs per cup, its high fiber, protein, and micronutrient density make it metabolically friendly. Unlike white rice or white bread, quinoa does not cause rapid blood sugar spikes, and it actively helps regulate insulin. In fact, its resistant starch and fiber content feed the beneficial gut bacteria that influence inflammation and even bladder signaling. Here's a fun fact. Quinoa was considered the gold of the Incas, not just for its nutrition, but for its healing properties. Ancient warriors consumed it to improve stamina and wound healing, both of which are relevant today for people trying to heal nerve and bladder dysfunctions from chronic diabetes or age-related decline. Now, for a practical tip, always rinse quinoa thoroughly before cooking to remove saponins, the natural coating that can irritate the digestive tract and potentially the bladder. For nighttime use, combine 3/4 cup cooked quinoa with steamed spinach, a dash of olive oil, and a few slices of grilled tofu or turkey. This creates a complete, bladder-friendly dinner that provides magnesium, tryptophan, and complex carbs, all of which help reduce urine production and support deep, restful sleep. Prepare it 2 hours before bed to give your digestion time to complete its job. A gentle caution: avoid seasoning quinoa with spicy sauces or high-sodium broths at night. Salt can increase water retention in the bloodstream and later trigger your kidneys to flush that excess fluid, waking you up in the middle of the night. Stick to herbs like basil, parsley, and turmeric for both flavor and healing benefits. So quinoa can nourish your nerves, restore your kidneys, protect your brain, and calm your bladder, all while balancing your blood sugar. Just wait until you discover what the next food can do. It's small, crunchy, and one of the most magnesium-rich seeds in the world. Pumpkin seeds. Third on list, pumpkin seeds. They're tiny, crunchy, and often tossed aside after carving a pumpkin, But these humble seeds might be one of the most powerful foods for calming an overactive bladder and restoring nighttime urinary control. Pumpkin seeds, also known as pepitas, have been used in traditional medicine across Europe and Asia for centuries to address urinary difficulties, particularly in men with prostate enlargement and women with bladder sensitivity. But modern research has confirmed what ancient cultures knew. Pumpkin seeds contain a potent mix of minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals that directly target the root causes of nocturia, whether it's nerve dysfunction, poor kidney filtration, inflammation of the bladder lining, or hormonal imbalance. For diabetics, who are more likely to experience nerve damage and ADH hormone disruption, pumpkin seeds offer a gentle, natural way to reduce nighttime urination without side effects. Let's begin with their mineral profile. Just 1 ounce, about 2 tablespoons, of shelled pumpkin seeds contains 168 milligrams of magnesium. That's 40% of the daily value, making them one of the richest natural food sources of this bladder-calming mineral. Magnesium relaxes smooth muscle, including the detrusor muscle of the bladder wall, which is often overactive in nocturia. It also stabilizes nerve signaling in the pelvic region, reducing those false alarms to urinate when the bladder isn't full. In diabetics with peripheral or autonomic neuropathy, these false signals can be frequent and exhausting. Magnesium also supports deep sleep cycles, helping prevent the sudden awakenings that make nighttime urination feel more disruptive than it already is. Pumpkin seeds also contain 37% of the daily value for iron, 20% for zinc, 15% for phosphorus, and 19% for manganese, each of which supports kidney filtration, tissue repair, and nerve regeneration. But the most unique aspect of pumpkin seeds lies in their phytosterols, especially beta-sitosterol, which have been clinically shown to shrink the prostate gland, improve urine flow, and reduce residual bladder volume in men. This is key for nocturia relief, particularly in older men with benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, where the enlarged prostate puts pressure on the urethra and bladder. By easing this pressure and improving bladder emptying, pumpkin seeds reduce the chances of waking up multiple times a night to urinate. One 12-week study found that men taking pumpkin seed extract experienced a 45% improvement in nocturia symptoms, with some reporting longer stretches of uninterrupted sleep for the first time in years. Even whole pumpkin seeds, not just extracts, have been shown to improve urinary comfort when consumed regularly. What makes them especially useful for women, especially those post-menopause, is their mild phytoestrogen content. As estrogen levels drop, the bladder becomes more sensitive, less elastic, and more prone to involuntary contractions. The phytoestrogens in pumpkin seeds help restore some of that elasticity and calm the bladder's nerve response, reducing nighttime urgency. Combined with their antioxidant compounds like lignans and vitamin E, pumpkin seeds also soothe inflammation in the bladder lining, a lesser-known but common contributor to frequent urination at night, especially when paired with a spicy or acidic diet. Let's bust a popular myth. Some people worry that pumpkin seeds are too high in calories or fat for a diabetic-friendly night snack. But that's a misunderstanding. While they do contain 13 grams of fat per ounce, the majority are heart-healthy unsaturated fats that actually slow digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce the urge to urinate triggered by glucose fluctuations. Their glycemic index is essentially zero, and their combination of fat, protein, and fiber makes them an excellent evening option to prevent blood sugar crashes, which are known to disrupt sleep and bladder stability. Here's a fun fact. Pumpkin seeds were officially recognized in the European Pharmacopoeia as a medicinal treatment for urinary disorders, meaning they were approved as a natural bladder support remedy in clinical settings long before they became a health food trend. For those looking to try them, here's a simple diabetic-friendly nighttime recipe. Combine 2 tablespoons of unsalted roasted pumpkin seeds with 1 tablespoon of plain Greek yogurt and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed or cinnamon. This combination delivers calming magnesium, bladder-soothing zinc, and a slow-digesting protein-fat blend that reduces bladder irritation and helps maintain hormonal balance during the night. It's ideal 60 to 90 minutes before bed and won't spike your blood sugar. For variety, you can also blend them into a sugar-free nut milk smoothie or sprinkle on top of a warm quinoa porridge. A natural-sounding word of caution: avoid salted, spiced, or sugar-coated versions of pumpkin seeds. High sodium or chili seasoning can irritate the bladder lining and actually increase nighttime urgency, especially in sensitive individuals. Always choose plain, unsalted, dry roasted seeds, and keep your evening portion to around 1 to 1.5 ounces to avoid late-night fullness or indigestion. Pumpkin seeds work best when consumed consistently over time. 3 to 4 times per week for at least 3 weeks is where most people begin noticing relief. And for those with long-standing nocturia, combining them with other magnesium-rich foods like tofu, quinoa, and leafy greens can create a compounding effect that restores urinary balance gently from the inside out. Final thought. So here's the big takeaway. Tofu and tempeh help relax your bladder muscles and rebalance your nighttime hormones. Quinoa heals the kidneys, restores bladder lining, and keeps your blood sugar steady. And pumpkin seeds reduce nerve overactivity, shrink prostate pressure, and calm bladder inflammation. But when you combine all three, something incredible happens. You're not just addressing one cause of nocturia, you're treating the entire system, from nerve signaling to kidney function to hormonal regulation. Start by rotating them into your dinner meals 3 to 4 nights a week, and you could begin to notice deeper sleep, fewer nighttime interruptions, and calmer mornings, all without relying on medication. If this video helped you or someone you love, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss the next healing food.